Hi guys, welcome to Finish Awesome Friday for this week. Today we're going to continue discussing the 3 layers of awesome, but going now into a bit more detail into each section of it and each layer within those sections. So we're going to start off with nutrition, okay, and we're working on that bottom layer with the nutrition, which is your foundation level, okay. With this, obviously, you need to make sure that you're doing these things before you can go on and completely change your dieting system and structure that you do every day, okay. So hopefully with this you'll understand and get to grasp with how to start working on your own nutrition and your own diets to sort of make them more effective and to keep with them more long term and get the results that you want, okay. Obviously this is the great, so what we're trying to do here is build build habits basically, which we'll talk about in a second, but this is the idea of this. To do anything successfully, it needs to become an automatic thing. You need to be able to perform it, to be able to do it every day as a daily task without really thinking much about it. And so this area is when you start thinking a bit more about what you're doing. You don't have to become an expert at nutrition, you don't have to become an expert at anything really. You just need to understand the basics and then work with them and bring them into your lifestyle and how you do things, okay. I'm the last person to preach about perfect diets, about organic and all the other paleo and stuff like that. It's not really what I'm here to do. There's plenty of people out there that can explain those things, but I personally like a more realistic approach when dealing with everyday athletes, everyday people that want to just look and feel better, okay. So starting off with your foundation, okay, the first thing really you want to do is start making positive changes about the diet or nutrition from there. Okay, I've said stop dieting, okay, I still call it a diet, I still call it, I try to, not distinguish the word, because the diet is literally just something that you're doing every day. It's your nutritional sort of means of every day, okay, so that is what your diet is. What you want to stop doing is changing every 2 minutes to something else because it looks or sounds sexy. The latest scientific study comes out, dispelling all other diets and saying that this one's the greatest, but that's not the way that you want to do. The best thing you can do is just stop dieting altogether and just start looking at your nutritional plan and how you diet day to day and how you can change and manipulate that to be better for you, because that will lead to better long-term goals. What you always come back to, that ground level of nutrition, whether it be good or bad, is what you should build from, okay. That should be your foundation, okay. That should be what you start from, okay. It shouldn't be what you revert back to and then keep crashing out on, okay. A lot of the reasons why diets fail is because they're restrictive and because they make you do things that you obviously don't want to do, okay. Cutting out all carbohydrates, or cutting out all fats, or putting calories down to ridiculous low levels and making you just drink shakes instead of eating food. Things like this are not healthy. They're not they're not realistic, and they get people craving and wanting those things that that they want. People talk about this addiction to sugar, okay. Whether you believe it or not, whether the brain does get addicted to sugar or not, it's not necessarily the problem. The problem is that people can't control how much sugar they have, how little sugar they have. They need to first learn and understand why that sugar is so disruptive to their diet, and sort of cut it out a little bit, but still have that sugar there. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You can eat a perfectly healthy diet, a perfectly balanced diet with things like sugars, with things like fats, and those are things that you will go on and learn as you go more into your nutrition. But just to know that you don't need to find the latest diet to do it, okay? I have my own structure of eating, my own way of doing things, but I don't push it onto anyone else. I just, if people want to know what I do, I can tell them quite happily. But if they say, oh, do you think I should do that? I say, yeah, if you can. A diet is always going to work. The people that do things like, intermittent fasting that I do myself, it takes a certain person to do that diet, okay? People that do paleo and stick to it religiously, it takes a certain person to do that diet, and if you're not that type of person, you're not going to succeed in that diet. So that's the first thing you've really got to understand. Diet, stop dieting, stop changing your diet to suit others, to do something because someone told you it was better to do. Actually just work on your nutrition, work on your diet now, and start looking at it in more detail and start looking at what you need to change to make that a more long-term healthy alternative rather than trying to find the next best thing, okay? So that's just really where the positive changes come from. It's changing that mindset. Stop thinking as your diet as the you know, the way you eat as being the dirty way of eating, and everything else is the cleansed way to do it. And you know, oh, I feel so bad if I have a donut. I feel so bad if I have a can of Coke. You know, you just got to think more logically about it. You know, be more simple about it and work with what you've got rather than trying to just uproot everything and make those changes. That is why people will always end up failing. Okay. So the daily habits are the most important thing. When you're looking at your foundation, you look at the daily habits that you can start bringing in, okay? Before you start ripping everything apart, the basics are always the basics, okay? So drinking water, okay? You want to make sure that your hydration levels are up, okay? So that can mean just increasing the amount of water you eat up to, say, 1 litre to 2 litres a day, okay? That's a nice, safe sort of margin for most people to get to. If you can drink sort of a couple of litres of water a day, then that's going to be 10 times better than probably what you're doing at the moment, which is drinking when you're thirsty, which is, as you've been told before, when you're thirsty, it's actually too late. The body is already dehydrating and in a pretty bad state. So you want to make sure that you're constantly hydrated and getting plenty of water in there. Okay. Now, for myself, I drink up to between 3 to 4 litres a day, and that's just something that I've worked my way up to. Some days I won't hit that marker. Sometimes I will only hit 1 to 2 litres if it's a particularly busy day, or I just, you know, as a lot of people do, you just busy yourself with other things. But if you set yourself a target there, again, I'll refer to Pete Drinkwater's video from Real Fit, that basically you get up and have 1 litre first thing in the morning before you wake. You've already smashed 1 litre out the back from there. Great bit of advice, but also will make you feel better. You know, it will make you sort of, you know, look better. The skin and everything else will get better hydration. So that is a good way of just starting the day. So even if, you know, you don't have another drink until midday later on in the day, at least you've got that first litre done, and you know then you can work on that other litre through the day. I personally like to have a sort of 1.5 litre or 2 litre bottle around with me, and then I can just make sure I knock back 2 of those a day. That's the way I try it. You can use an app, you can do whatever you want, but basically that is just an important habit to start learning now. Get that water in, okay? Eat less processed food. No surprise there, okay? Processed products are generally going to be the products that are pumped mostly full of the chemicals, full of trans fats, full of things that are not going to be very well broken down in the body. Though they taste delicious 9 times out of 10, they're very sugary treats, or they're things that, you know, are very easy and convenient. They're not going to be the best thing in long term, okay? Where you've got to start thinking about food, okay? This is where we'll start going a bit deeper into it, but you've got a nutritionally dense and calorie dense foods. They're generally the 2 brackets you have, okay? 9 times out of 10, when you look at things that are nutritionally dense, they're normally higher up in the marker in terms of your minerals, in terms of you know, the macronutrients that you need in the body, okay? The right sources of fats, the right sources of protein, everything else is from there, okay? They're normally nutritionally dense. They're full of nutrition, okay? Calorie dense foods are normally foods that are high in calories but generally low in volume. So, you know, you think of cakes and pastries and anything else that, you know, is easy to grab off a shelf. You know, it tastes good. It's not a lot of food, but, you know, the calories for it, you know, you're normally looking anywhere between 400 to 700 calories for like a simple sandwich or, you know, a pastry off the shelf. You know, it's not going to give you the nutrition, the same nutritional needs, but it's just going to bump up those calories, okay? And that's something we'll go on to in a second, and something you need to look more into as you go along. But that is where we're looking at. You know, you start looking at things that are more nutritionally dense than calorie dense, you're always going to win out. Not only by getting all that great nourishment and getting all those nutritional benefits, but also it allows you to eat more, you know, and that's just, you know, that's always a good thing to hear if you enjoy food as much as me, okay? So less processed food is always a good start, you know. Again, don't stop eating processed food. Don't throw it out the window and say that it's gonna, you know, it's gonna kill you and everything else. You know, it's not the best choice, but sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes you're rushed. Sometimes you're getting to work and commuting around and you don't get the time to prep. You know, those sort of things come about. At this stage, it's not as important as the later stages, okay? So for this stage, you just want to look into it. If there is an alternative that you can get, something that's fresher, something that, you know, will have more vegetables in it based, something that's going to be a bit more healthier, then make that decision and say, you know what, I'll go for the better alternative, you know, every now and again, go for a splurge, but if you can, where you can, always go for the less processed product, okay? Eat more fruit and vegetables, okay? Fruit is demonized more so now than it ever has been before, which it absolutely blows my mind. You know, people talk about these, you know, the reason people are overweight is because you've got these, you know, smoothie shakes that have got loads of fruit in it, more than anyone can sit down and consume. You know, show me someone that gets fat off of eating fruit and vegetables, and I'll show you a scientific marvel, okay? It's not the fruit and vegetables that are causing people to be overweight, okay? So stop with this ridiculous talk, okay? Of course, a bottle of processed fruit, okay, switched down, is going to have a lot of sugar, a lot of fructose in it, and a lot of calories in it. But that is not the reason that people are overweight. So stop with that rubbish, and people just start eating more fruit and vegetables. I'm telling you now, if you're hungry and you pick up an apple or banana and have that with a pint of water, your hunger will be gone, okay? It's just a nice way of getting a quick snack food in. It's got nutrition in it, it's got, you know, fiber, all these extra things that can be done from there. And hey, if you want a smoothie, if the smoothie is the easiest and most convenient way to get your fiber day in, then have a blooming smoothie. And don't worry about the naysayers that start standing there and saying, oh, watch out for the fructose, watch out for fruit. It's not the problem. Fruit is not the problem, okay? It's the total calories that people are consuming, which is why people are overweight. Okay, so start looking at incorporating more fruit and vegetables into your diet however you can. And if it means having a smoothie, have a goddamn smoothie, okay? But you just got to do it, because the body needs that nourishment. It needs the vitamins, it needs the minerals, it needs the fiber, okay? Those are the things that are easily accessible through fruit and vegetables, okay? So again, when you get the opportunity to, eat whole fruits. You know, buy a pack of, you know, apples or strawberries or bananas or whatever it is that you like to eat, and have that on a regular basis, okay? Just keeping you regular through your body, okay? It's a necessity to make sure that you get that done, okay? However it means, okay? More protein, okay? The most important macronutrient in the body is protein, okay? You can't escape it. As much as people want to dismiss meat, okay, which you can do, obviously, the way it's processed, the way it is, you know, the cruelty to animals, all the rest of it. If you're not a meat eater, then you still require some dietary protein in your food. So it is the most important, okay? You can cut out everything else and still survive, but without any protein, your body is not going to function very well. So this is something that a lot of people need to learn straight away, and it is the reason why a lot of us in the industry, a lot of people that are fitness fanatics, drink protein powders, okay? Because we need to ensure that we get a certain level of protein. Now, at this level, at this base level, it is not important for you to worry about how much protein necessarily you're getting in, okay? You just need to get more of it, okay? If I tell you that the average person will probably need to consume between 150 to 180 grams of protein a day, and most people are barely scratching 50 to 60, it kind of shows you how important it is to get more of this in there, okay? It's great for the metabolism, it's great for starving off hunger, it's great for building lean tissue, it's great for all the benefits that come from having more lean tissue on the body, okay? It's a necessity. It's protein. It is the most important macronutrient. So you need to be eating or consuming, however you can, more of it, okay? And that's just something you need to start learning into. Again, you don't have to go straight into 150 grams of protein. You don't have to start weighing it or measuring it, but just be more aware of it. It's something that you're going to need, okay? So they're the 4 main daily habits that you want to start looking into, okay? These are things that if you increase your water intake, increase your vegetables and fruit intake, eat less processed products and eat more protein. If you just make those simple changes, then you may find that already your body will make positive changes to the way you want to see it, okay? You're eating more things that are going to fill you up more, but not put so many calories on the body, okay, on the old ticker, okay? So that will win out over anything else. Before you start even thinking about tracking calories, before you start going on a crazy fad diet, before you start cutting anything out, okay, look at those 4 basic daily habits, and that should be enough to make some form of change for you over the course of the first couple of weeks, okay? Once you've done all that, okay, something that will help move on to that next level. Obviously, with the next stage, we're going to talk about the sort of the structure, the meat and potatoes of nutrition, okay? Tracking calories, okay? Now, calorie tracking is massively important if you want to manipulate your body shape, okay? And be more precise with it, okay? The simple fact is that the amount of calories you consume versus the amount of calories you expend, you know, the more you use, okay? That will differentiate, obviously, from there. obviously the lower the calories you take into the energy you use, the weight will come down. The other way, the weight goes up. Okay. Now, if you want to lose fat, for example, then you need to make sure you're in that negative point, because to lose weight, to lose fat, you need to be in a negative or calorie deficit. Okay. There's no way around it. The body, to drop tissue, to drop any type of tissue, whether it be fat, muscle, water, glycogen, anything else like that, it would need to be in that deficit. It won't do it. The body is, in that sense, perfect in its way that it will work out the ratios that it needs to, the calories, and it will hold and lose body weight depending on the energy that we put into it and expend. Okay. Same if you want to gain muscle. Okay. If you want to build muscle, you've got to go the other way. You've got to eat more calories than your body works, because you want to obviously add tissue to the body. Okay. To do that, you need more calories. Okay. So that is the simple fact of it. So for the foundation phase, what I would always recommend people do is start tracking your calories. Not necessarily have a calorie amount to aim for. Okay, that comes later on. That's the next stage that we'll talk about. Okay, but at this stage, you need to start maybe understanding, what is calorie dense, what is nutritionally dense. I can say it to you. I can probably give you a list of foods either way, but it'll be good for you to see it yourself. When you start seeing it on a piece of paper or on a screen, you start understanding a little bit more about what your options are and about what choices you're making in life. Are you making the right choices nutritionally? Oh my God, I've just seen that this sandwich is 700 calories. If I was tracking my daily intake, that would be almost a third of my daily intake. That sort of stuff is actually quite interesting to learn. Okay, and from there, just by tracking your calories, automatically you'll start realizing and maybe controlling how much you start consuming. Okay, and that, again, just doing that could change the way your diet is, and you could lose weight and look more positive and be in a better shape. And that could be the simple change that you make. And you may not even go on to the next stage. You might be happy at that stage. But I would recommend everybody, for at least a week or 2 weeks, just start tracking your calories, even for just a couple of days in that week. You don't have to do it all week. Certainly not the weekends, as we all know. That's when the blinkers come on and we just ignore it. Weekends don't count. But if it was just Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, for example, and you just tracked your calories for those 3 days just to see what your calories look like on a normal day basis, then that is a good start. Because to go to the next stage, to move on, you need to be more accountable. That word again, I love using that word, but you need to be accountable. You need to make sure that you are doing everything you can to get the goal that you want. Okay, so I would recommend to start doing this before you move on to the next layer, which I'll then go on to explain next week. The structure phase is then going to ask you to start hitting targets of certain macronutrients, hitting targets of calories, working out what your base, your maintenance levels are, things like that. So that's what we're going to go on to. So without practicing this first, you're not going to be able to succeed in that next stage. Okay, so I would recommend anybody that's not doing that, okay, anyone that's dieting more recently, you're doing any sort of crash dieting or any sort of diet that's out there, first things first, stop looking at it as just that thing you're going to do for a short period of time. Stop thinking of it as a thing you're going to do and then you get back to your normal diet. Okay, just start thinking of your normal diet as being a lifelong, structured nutritional plan that will get you the results that you want. Okay, if you want to lose a bit of weight before your holiday, you know what you're doing. If you want to, gain a bit of muscle, you know what you're doing. These things need to start coming into play. Okay, so stop thinking it as a diet. Start thinking as your diet, your nutritional plan, your normal thing as being the thing you're going to work on, your project, okay, to get the results that you want. Okay, daily habits, make sure that every single day, okay, not just a couple of days a week and then you forget about it and then come back and try and go back and forth and back and forth. Always try and make sure you get the basics right. Drink more water, eat less processed food, eat more fruit and vegetables, eat more protein. Okay, those things will never ever go out of fashion. They'll never be wrong. Okay, that is nutrition. Simplest format. If you do these things and you do it consistently, you'll start seeing results, guaranteed. Track calories, that's the final thing. If you can, I want you to start tracking your calories over the next week, okay, just so you can start seeing things. Okay, I've asked it before. I think you'll be surprised some days how many calories you're actually consuming, and the majority of where your nutrition, where the macronutrients are in terms of the ratios. Okay, so that's an opportunity for you to do so. Okay, next week we'll start talking about the structure phase. Any questions you have about the foundation phase or how you can start implementing that into your diet, then do so. I'm not a qualified nutritionist, so I do not give out meal plans, I do not give out particular diets to do. I am here just to give guidance and to help you understand more your own nutrition and help you maybe investigate and look more into how to make your diet better to suit your body type, to suit your your particular likes and dislikes. You know, I'm not here to tell you how to eat, I'm just here to kind of help out, guys. All right, hope you enjoyed that. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday for Movement Monday. Just be awesome. See you later, guys.